Hello, guys, welcome to all of you on our YouTube channel or website. Don't waste your time to check your steno script one by one for each error. Use our website www.stenoforall.com with auto checking facility or much more. All candidates are ready to write at a speed of 140 words per minute. This is our fourth dictation. All are ready to write? He observed that a majority of cases and deaths were in the Broad Street area, which received supply from a common water pump, supporting his theory that cholera was a waterborne contagious disease. The collection of health data and vital statistics by the GRO had improved over the previous decade and a half due to untiring efforts put in by another medical doctor, William Farr. Based upon the data on the time, place and person distribution of cholera cases and deaths, supplemented by a map. Snow on September 7, 1854 could convince the local authorities in London to remove the handle of the water pump, which they reluctantly did. The cholera outbreak was controlled in a few weeks. It started the beginning of a new era in epidemiology. John Snow is often referred to as the father of the modern epidemiology and William Farr as the founder of the modern concept of disease surveillance system. In the years to follow, epidemiology became a key discipline to prevent and control infectious diseases. The application of principle of epidemiology is possible through systematic collection and timely analysis and discrimination of data on the diseases. This is to initiate action to either prevent or stop further spread, a process termed as disease surveillance. However, in the late 19th century, with the emergence of understanding that germs cause the diseases, and then in the early 20th century, with the discovery of antibiotics and advances in modern medicine, attention from epidemiology somewhat shifted. The high-income countries invested in disease surveillance systems, but low and middle-income countries used limited resources for medical care. Then, in the second half of the 20th century, as part of the global efforts for smallpox eradication and then to tackle many emerging and re-emerging diseases, many countries recognized the importance and started to invest in and strengthen the diseases surveillance system. These efforts received further boost with the emergence of avian flu in 1997 and the severe acute respiratory syndrome outbreak in a major cholera outbreak in Delhi in 1988 and the Surat plague outbreak of 1994 nudged at the Government of India to launch the National Surveillance Program for Communicable Diseases in 1997. However, these initiatives remained rudimentary till the wake of the SARS outbreak in 2004. India launched the Integrated Disease Surveillance Project. The focus under the IDSP was to increase government funding for disease surveillance, strengthen laboratory capacity, train the health workforce, and have at least one trained epidemiologist in every district of India. With that, between 2004 and 2019, nearly every passing year, more outbreaks were detected and investigated than the previous year. It was on this foundation of the IDSP that when COVID-19 pandemic struck, India could rapidly deploy the teams of the epidemiologists and public health experts to respond to and guide the response, coordinate the contact tracing and rapidly scale up testing capacity. The disease surveillance system and health data recording systems are key tools in epidemiology. However, these have performed variably in Indian states as we know how from available analysis, be it seroprevalence survey findings or the analysis of excess COVID-19 deaths. As per data from the fourth round of Sero survey, Kerala and Maharashtra states could identify 1 in every 6 and 12 infections respectively, while in states such as Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, only 1 in every 100 COVID-19 infections could be detected. Pointing towards a weak disease surveillance system, the estimated excess deaths are also higher in those states which have weak disease surveillance systems and the civil registration and vital statistics system. In a well-functioning disease surveillance system, an increase in cases of any illness would be identified very quickly. An example is Kerala, arguably the best performing disease surveillance system amongst the Indian states, as it is picking the maximum COVID-19 cases. It could pick the first case of Nipah virus in early September 2021. On the contrary, cases of dengue, malaria, leptospirosis and scrub typhus received attention only when more than 3 dozen deaths were reported, and health facilities in multiple districts of Uttar Pradesh began to be overwhelmed. The situation is not very different in states such as Madhya Pradesh and Haryana, when viral illness, most likely dengue, are causing hospitalization but not being correctly identified or are being reported as mystery fever. This is a bit concerning, as 18 months into the COVID-19 pandemic and a lot of political promises of strengthening disease surveillance and health systems, one would expected a better performance. It raises the question, if the pandemic could not nudge the governments to strengthen the disease surveillance system, then what will? Or is it that difficult to strengthen the disease surveillance system? A review of the IDSP by Joint Monitoring Commission in 2015, conducted jointly by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, the Government of India and World Health Organization, India had made a few concrete recommendations to strengthen disease surveillance system. These included increasing financial resource allocation, ensuring adequate number of trained human resources, strengthening laboratories and zoonosis, influenza and vaccine preventable disease surveillance. Clearly, it is time all these recommendations are relooked and acted upon. At a more specific level, the following should be considered by health policy makers. First, the government resources allocated to preventive and promotive health services and disease surveillance need to be increased by the union and state governments. Second, the workforce in the primary healthcare system in both rural and urban areas needs to be retrained in disease surveillance and public health actions. The vacancies of surveillance staff at all levels need to be urgently filled in. Third, the laboratory capacity for COVID-19 developed in the last 18 months needs to be planned and repurposed to increase the ability to conduct testing for other public health challenges and infections. This should be linked to create a system in which samples collected are quickly transported and tested and the reports are available in real time. Fourth, the emerging outbreaks of zoonotic diseases, be it the Nipah virus in Kerala or avian flu in other states, as well as scrub typhus in Uttar Pradesh, are a reminder of the interconnectedness of human and animal health. The One Health approach has to be promoted beyond policy discourses and made functional on the ground. Fifth, there has to be adequate focus on strengthening the civil registration and vital statistics system and medical certification of cause of deaths. These are complementary to disease surveillance systems, and often when one is weak, the other is also functioning suboptimally. Sixth, it is also time to ensure coordinated actions between the state government and municipal corporation to develop joint action plan and assume responsibility for public health and disease surveillance. The allocation made by the 15th Finance Commission to Corporation for Health should be used to activate this process. The emergence and re-emergence of new and old diseases and an increase in cases of endemic diseases are partly unavoidable. We cannot prevent every single outbreak, but with a well-functioning disease surveillance system and with the application of principle of epidemiology, we can reduce their impact. Sometimes the control of a deadly disease could be as easy as the removal of a handle of a water pump. However, which handle it is to be can only be guided by coordinated actions between a disease surveillance system, a civil registration system, and experts in medical statistics, and finally informed by the application of principles of epidemiology. Indian states urgently need to do everything to start detecting diseases which will prepare the country for all future outbreaks, epidemics and pandemics. This is amongst the first things which Indian health policy makers should pay attention to. In its first reaction to AUKUS, the new partnership between Australia, the US, and the UK, India has made it clear that it does not welcome the announcement, nor does it wish to link AUKUS to Indian interests. Foreign Secretary Harsh Shringla said that AUKUS, which was launched a week before the first in-person summit of leaders of the Australia, India, Japan, US quadrilateral, will not affect plans to strengthen the Quad. He called them two very different groupings, describing AUKUS as security alliance and indicating that security is not the Quad's main focus. Brushing aside to criticism from China and Iran on the plans within the partnership for the US and UK to develop nuclear-propelled submarines for Australia, he said that India does not see AUKUS as nuclear proliferation. This is our